I was thinking, like, we have been running like so many years in the Himalayas from on the roads, the main roads from town to town, which is easy for stay and food. But why not actually try running across the passes, very remote places that directly take us on shortcut trails between the different valleys. So it took us weeks and weeks of reading through blogs, checking trails available in OpenStreetMaps. Google Maps does not have trails, they mostly keep it to roads. So we created one big map that would give us sufficient actually type of terrain, vegetation, depending on the altitude and weather conditions. So typically, as you start from valleys below 2000 meters, you walk through dense forest. Somewhere above 3000 meters, you come into alpine meadows. A lot of beautiful lush green stone actually ends you up like hundreds of meters below in the valley floor. Another one are the stream crossings, which have high water currents. Not always easy to see. Just looking at the stream might look peaceful, but as you go inside, say, the depth of the stream might actually go even beyond your waist. As the sun sets high in the afternoon and the amount of glacial water increases, and in one specific section where we crossed from Chandratal to Barachala, there we had the challenge of crossing like 3 major side streams on one side of the main valley, and really the stream was very ferocious. Well, you could hear big rocks being pushed through the stream, banged on each other, so it was like a very risky thing to try to cross those. Dangers would be again like crevices in the glaciers, which basically are made by meltwater in the summer sun, the afternoon sun. As you step in this fresh snow, you can actually see whether you're stepping on solid surface or on top of some hollow crevice below. Fresh snow really kind of has this whiteout effect which covers everything, including dangerous obstacles, and you might take a wrong step suddenly. So you always have to be a bit careful that you don't end up in some 127-hour experience. If you approach the glaciers, right, typically from the side, up like camp towards the pass, and then try to quickly make it across the pass. Most people know the AMS, the high altitude sickness. So we had carried a small device called an oxygen meter. So having that allowed us basically to keep an eye as we are crossing above 3,000, 3,500 meters, as it can become very dangerous. You also carefully watch the symptoms of AMS while climbing up. And then after some 3, 4, 5 days in spending in those higher altitudes, the body actually gets 2 weeks of rainy weather, pretty cold at those higher altitudes. Morning till evening it was kind of drizzly and rainy, we were feeling cold. And then coming across this beautiful open view hot spring, giving beautiful views on the opposite side of the mountain, submerging yourself in 60-degree water while it's just 5 degrees outside was like really a heavenly feeling. So as we were walking through those areas, from a distance we could see some pretty nice looking royal kind of settlements, beautifully constructed. Then as we approached these little hamlets, we could see that they were kind of fallen apart by the weather elements, and as we kind of entered these places, we saw that people had left kind of in a hurry, completely emptied, transformed in beautiful, vibrant little hamlets in the past had been transformed to ghost villages now. Seeing this so beautiful settlements actually now completely abandoned was giving a very weird sense actually to walk, and it was herds of wild yaks, mostly, I mean, not hostile as long as you don't make any sudden moves. Groups of ibex in many places. So there again you need to be a bit careful. Those guys are very agile, they will be running up vertical slopes, so if they just be on top of your location, you should be careful for rocks coming down. Snow leopards definitely were there, mostly in the remote places, far away from the villages and kind of the hiking routes. Shepherd dogs typically wear this big metal ring with spikes along the neck. They will be protecting the herds, the sheep and the goats, against those attacks of snow leopards. Black and brown bears. And apart from that, I only saw like one single snake in the entire journey. A lot of the shepherds coming from the lower Himalayas take like big herds of sheep, 500 to 700 sheep, and go across various passes on their way to the higher alpine meadows where they actually let them graze. The shepherds typically stay in pretty remote places, so whenever they see a hiker there, especially in the non-touristic places, they are quite happy to see a living soul and to meet a shepherd who kind of welcomes you warmly and immediately starts like milking the goat, preparing fresh tea. And they're always very friendly, I mean, totally non-expecting. They will offer shelter and food for free. They treat you really royally as a guest. Also, sometimes when we were low on food, we were able to find a shepherd.